There's a piece of paper in your pocket right now that took 2 cents to print, and you would trade an entire day of your life for a stack of them. Somewhere along the way, every human on Earth agreed that specific rectangles of cotton are worth fighting for, lying for, and waking up at 6 a.m. for. Nobody signed anything. Nobody voted. And the wildest part? The whole thing runs on a 5,000-year-old trick, and the story you were taught about how it started is completely, provably wrong. This is the story of the strangest invention in human history, the one that doesn't exist. Let's start with the version you know. Once upon a time, there was barter. A farmer has chickens. A cobbler has shoes. The farmer wants shoes, but tragedy. The cobbler is sick of chickens. Everyone stands around holding livestock awkwardly until some genius invents coins and civilization begins. 2 chickens for those boots. I'm vegan. I also have a goat. Economists have told this story since 1776, when Adam Smith put it in the founding book of economics. There's just one problem. Anthropologists have spent a century looking for a society that actually worked like that, checked every corner of the planet, every historical record, every remote island. They found nothing, not one, not a single human community that ran on barter before money. The barter economy, the thing your teacher drew on the whiteboard, is a myth. It never happened, so if humans didn't invent money to fix barter, why does it exist? It's 30,000 years ago. You're a human. You have no wallet because pockets haven't been invented, because pants haven't been invented. And yet you're rich. By the only measure that exists. People owe you. Last month you shared a mammoth. 2 winters ago you pulled your neighbor's kid out of a river. Everyone in the camp remembers. Not one of them wrote it down because writing doesn't exist, but the ledger is real, and it is stored in the most sophisticated accounting device on Earth, the human brain. This is how small societies actually worked. Not 2 chickens for boots, but favors, gifts, and grudges tracked in memory forever. Your neighbor doesn't pay you for the meat. He just owes you, and everybody knows it. Here, take the meat. What do you want for it? Nothing. It's a gift. I don't like where this is going. That system works beautifully, right up until the group gets too big to remember everyone. A brain can track maybe 150 reputations. The moment strangers show up, the moment a village becomes a town, the memory ledger crashes. You can't run an economy on trust me with someone you've never met. Humanity needed a way to make a favor portable, and the first attempts were deeply, magnificently weird. Salt, cattle, shark teeth, feathers, cowrie shells, humanity's longest-running currency, used on 3 continents for thousands of years. Anything rare, durable, and hard to fake could become a token of someone owes someone. But the purest example, the one that accidentally explains all of modern finance, sits on a tiny Pacific island called Yap Island. The Pacific. Centuries ago, the people of Yap used money made of stone, not pebbles. Discs, carved limestone wheels up to 4 meters across, weighing more than a car, quarried on an island 400 kilometers away, and shipped home on canoes made of sticks. 1 large stone, an entire village's fortune. Now, obvious question. You buy something big. How do you take your 4-ton coin home? You don't. The stone stays exactly where it is. Everyone just remembers that it belongs to you now. So the stone in front of my house is yours? Correct. And the one by the beach is mine? Obviously. This is a great system. It gets better. One of the most famous stones on Yap isn't even on Yap. Generations ago, a canoe crew was hauling a magnificent stone home when a storm hit, and it sank to the bottom of the ocean. The crew made it back and told everyone what happened, and the island came to a remarkable decision. The stone still counts. It's down there, it's real, it's excellent, and it belongs to the family that paid for it. That family stayed rich, trading a stone nobody had seen in 100 years. Laugh all you want. Then check your bank account. Numbers on a screen backed by a vault you will never visit, containing money that is mostly not there. You've never seen your salary. It's at the bottom of the digital ocean, and everyone just agrees it's yours. The Yapes didn't have primitive money. They had the final form. They just skipped ahead. But stones and shells still can't run a city. For that, you need the next upgrade, and it comes from the place cities were invented. Uruk, Mesopotamia, 5,000 years ago. The biggest city on Earth, 40,000 people, one giant temple economy, and a logistical nightmare. Grain comes in, beer goes out, workers get paid. Someone has to track all of it, and no brain on the planet can hold 40,000 reputations. So the temple accountants started pressing marks into wet clay. 5 jars of beer for the canal diggers, 12 baskets of barley owed by the fishermen. Little receipts, baked hard, impossible to argue with. Take a moment to appreciate what just happened. The first writing in human history, the technology that would give us poetry, philosophy, and the comment section, was not invented to write love letters. It was invented to track debt. Literature is a side effect of accounting. I've written something magnificent. A poem? An invoice? And once you can write debt down, you can do something new to it, something no campfire ever allowed. You can make it grow. Mesopotamia invented interest. Borrow 10 measures of barley at planting, owe 12 at harvest. The Sumerian word for it, mash, literally means calf. Debt that breeds, like cattle, sounds reasonable until the harvest fails. Because the debt doesn't fail with it. It keeps breeding. One bad season and a farmer owes more than his field can ever grow. 2, and he's selling the field. 3, and he's selling his children. And this became such a plague that Mesopotamian kings had to invent the emergency reset button, the clean slate. A new king takes the throne, and with one proclamation, every household debt in the kingdom is cancelled. Tablets smashed, ledgers wiped. Thousands of years before anyone said, "Too big to fail," rulers had already discovered that a society can literally owe itself to death, and the only cure is amnesia. Great news, the king cancelled all debts. Wonderful, what do we do now? Start new ones. And here's the twist. In Mesopotamia, money existed for 1,000 years before anything you'd recognize as cash. Silver was the unit, but almost nobody carried silver. Your debts were on a tablet in the temple. Money wasn't a thing you held. It was a note in a ledger about who owed what to whom, a favor written down. Exactly like the campfire, exactly like Yap, just with paperwork. Which means everything was in place. Trust, tokens, ledgers, 5,000 years of build-up. And then one kingdom pressed a button that changed everything and blew itself up doing it. Sardis, Kingdom of Lydia, Western Turkey. 600 BC, Lydia sits on a river that washes actual gold out of the mountains, electrum, a natural gold-silver mix, just lying there in the mud. For centuries, using it as money meant weighing every lump and testing every nugget, because any genius could shave a little off. Then the Lydian kings had the idea: pre-weigh the lumps, stamp each one with the royal lion. The stamp is a promise. This coin is real. This weight is true. The king himself guarantees it. The coin was born. Money you don't have to trust the stranger for. You only have to trust the stamp. And the king who perfected it became the richest human being the world had ever seen. His name was Croesus, and 2,600 years later, we still say it. Rich as Croesus. Gold coins. Silver coins. The first true currency system in history, flowing out of Sardis and setting the Mediterranean on fire. Every Greek trader wanted Lydian coins. Croesus funded temples, armies, legends. There was nothing money couldn't solve. And he had all of it. Which is exactly the moment history starts sharpening its irony. Flush with the world's first coin fortune, Croesus decided to buy the one thing that wasn't for sale, the future. He sent a fortune in gold to the Oracle of Delphi and asked whether he should attack the rising Persian Empire. The oracle's answer, "If you cross the river, a great empire will be destroyed." That's a yes. Sir, it's ambiguous. It's a yes. Croesus crossed the river. A great empire was destroyed. His. The Persians crushed his army, took Sardis, took the mint, took the gold, and, according to legend, put Croesus on a pyre to burn. The inventor of hard currency, the richest man alive, discovering in real time the one thing his coins had been whispering all along. The stamp is a promise, and promises are only worth the power behind them. The Persians kept his invention. Coins spread from empire to empire like a virus with a face on it. Every ruler realizing you could stamp your own head on trust itself. Alexander did it. Caesar did it. Your money still does it. Fast forward. China, around 1000 AD. Merchants in Sichuan are drowning. Their coins are iron, and buying a sack of rice takes a sack of metal. So they start leaving coins with trusted shops and carrying the paper receipts instead. Within a century, the government takes over the scheme and starts printing the receipts directly. Paper money. Value with no metal in it at all, just ink and the emperor's promise. When Marco Polo saw it, he genuinely could not cope. He wrote a whole chapter for the folks back home, and the tone is roughly, they pay with paper. Paper. The great Khan makes trees into money, and everyone just accepts it. Europeans didn't believe him. It took Europe another 600 years to catch up. And when Europe finally did, it stumbled into the biggest trick of all. By accident, in London, in the 1600s, rich Londoners kept their gold with goldsmiths because goldsmiths owned the best vaults in town. The goldsmith hands you a paper receipt. Come back any time, swap it for your gold. Simple, but soon people stopped coming back. Why bother? If the receipt buys bread, the receipt is the money. The gold just sat there. And one day, some goldsmith looked at his vault, full of gold nobody ever collected, and had the most dangerous thought in financial history. They never all come at once. Sir, I could write more receipts than I have gold. Lend them out. Charge interest. On gold that isn't there? On gold that isn't there. It worked. It's called fractional reserve banking. It is how every bank on earth operates today, and it means most money is born the same way it was on that goldsmith's desk, written into existence as someone's brand new debt. The campfire favor, the clay tablet, the paper receipt, now issuing themselves. But notice what the paper really was. The receipt isn't the value. It points at the value, just like the tablet pointed at the barley, just like the stamp pointed at the king, just like the stone at the bottom of the ocean pointed at a family's fortune. Every form of money ever invented is the same object, a pointer at a promise. In 1971, the last thread snapped. The dollar quit gold entirely. Cash became pure promise, and nobody's money has pointed at anything since. And today, more than 90% of all money on Earth has no physical form at all, not paper, not metal. Database entries, moving at the speed of light between computers that have never been visited by a human being. So, why did humans invent money? Not to fix barter, that never happened. We invented it because we outgrew our own memory. Money is a favor you can hand to a stranger, a grudge with a serial number. The campfire ledger, industrialized, which means every dollar, shekel, coin, and cowrie shell in history has been running on the same operating system. Everyone agrees to keep pretending, together, forever. Croesus burned, the temples fell. The stone is still at the bottom of the ocean, and 8 billion people woke up this morning and kept the oldest agreement our species has ever made, without even knowing they'd signed it. Money never became real. It just became too important to admit it isn't.